Now remember, even if they remove them from the north here, they still have huge influence in the south near the Mediterranean. They still have a large portion of what was Russian territory under their control. Because as you can see, this army really has taken quite a thrashing here, sir. As you can see, wait a minute, sir. In the turn, let's see what comes our way. Look at Kiev there, that is well defended to say the least. There it is, the very first attack here. Greetings and welcome to episode 112 of my Empire Total War Darth Mod USA campaign, and this, my friends, I left it last time at last, my friends. Austria, Vienna, which has been a thorn in our side here in the south, is finally potentially within our grasp, but it has cost thousands of lives on both sides to get to this point. And really, we need to take this city, my friends. The council has called upon us many years ago to take this city because it really will prove a pivotal point here within this the southern redoubt here of the Austrians, and it really has put us at the point of almost eliminating the Austrians in their entirety, removing a huge potential threat here, particularly to our southern flank, and also to any of our movement against the Germans from the south, moving up to the north. As you can see, they still hold here Bohemia and Moravia here. So it's really crucial we take Vienna, use it as a springboard to not only replenish and repair and rest our men after this particular hard fight we've had here, but also to sort of that staging point, that forward operating base from which we can then strike from the south into the northern sort of hemisphere, as it were, of the German cities and towns that are left over. We still have a huge task on our hands. Hanover in particular really is under a huge amount of pressure. There have been calls by the council as well that we actually take Paris back and give it back to France, to French, to help them as best we can. That is a possibility. We will look into that further now within this next couple of years happening now. Also, there's been a call for us to provide financial aid to the French as well, to try and get their forces back up to some kind of normality, as it were, some kind of fighting forces. At the moment, they're a little bit of a shambles, a bit of a rag bag, should we say, of forces. Many of the French forces were lost fighting the Spanish. They tried one sort of last dash and hurrah to try and take the principal borders there along the sort of the west with Hanover. They failed the Spanish, a hugely powerful force they have there. So many of the council have called on us to actually strike against France whilst we are still engaged in the combat with Germany and Austria. Now that is a very sort of potent and indeed a difficult task we would face. Now that is not to say we won't do it, because no council sort of proposal will ever be turned down, ever, outright. we will always look at the situation as we stand at the moment. Now that could change. Now Spain is deeply hostile towards us, deeply hostile towards us, to the point where many of the council also feel that war with Spain is inevitable, because it looks like Spain will probably declare war upon us sooner rather than later. We've also had the Ottomans as well declare war upon us and strike sort of anchor at the middle of our sort of Middle Eastern enclave there as well. Now they're combining most of their forces they have left, and it looks like a huge amount of forces, but actually when you put it together it would probably only constitute maybe an army group. But the sheer number of troops they're able to put into the field, even those troops are sort of not at full capacity, those armies, they still will prove a real test for ourselves. That's why we're moving two armies. We've had to actually pull two armies back from the Don fighting force to actually try and reinforce Ankara. Now we do have an army sort of stationed way out in front of the city there, in a fort they constructed ready to sort of try and, almost like a magnet, draw in the Austrian forces before they actually reach the city. Now will that work? Will that plan work? We're not sure, but it's a wonderful plan by the council. Again, the council said, man, you need to put a force well in advance of the city, so you almost sort of drag all those Ottoman forces onto this sort of one sort of redoubt there, that's sort of almost like a cauldron, so that we have this sort of this sword poking into the Ottoman forces as they try to sort of surround Ankara. It's also bought us time. It's bought us time for those forces pulled in from the Don front to actually reach Ankara to reinforce it. If we can break that Austrian force that's on its way, there's a chance we could break the Ottomans in its entirety. And also we've actually, a number of council members also were pleased with the plan that is in progress to actually take Cairo, to take Egypt. That would put us then on a that sort of southern, sort of eastern western flank there of the forces in the Middle East, Jerusalem and Syria. So again, we have a huge amount to do here, but our main focus here now is this battle here. Now as you can see, this will not be an easy battle. They still have some splendid troops at their disposal. Here we have Cuirassier guards, my friends. These are not normal sort of, you can see these are Cuirassiers, but Cuirassier guards, probably the finest cavalry you will find anywhere in any army are Cuirassier guards. They've got Grenadier guards, they've also got Marines late as well, Fusiliers. They do have a number of militia, garrison militia here as well, so they're not at full capacity in terms of the sort of the sheer elite troops they have. But again, we mustn't underestimate them. Underestimating your enemy is a real problem. We must not do that, my friends. We must take this very seriously. They also got the curse of any besieging force, which is the mortar, which I loathe with a passion. And of course we are not without ourselves bringing a number of fine regiments and commanders to this field. Here, as you can see, we've got General Caton here. We've also got General Ursoy, and we've also got no general here at all. We don't have a council member here at all. But as you can see, still these armies are more than a match for the Austrians, which are coming out to meet us. So let's begin this battle, my friends. Hopefully the final battle of Vienna, unless the Austrians unleash the forces locked away in Venice. Now that's a different proposition altogether. The Venetian forces are huge, absolutely huge. We have to be absolutely on our toes here. We mustn't let our guard slip at all. If we take Vienna, then we must reinforce it. We must have enough armies there to at least defend against what could come our way, which could be an absolute tidal wave of Austrian forces from Venice. I beg your pardon, my friends, I just have a sip of a beverage, tea of course. Now, let's see what was in order here. As you can see, the topography here of an underwhelming deployment zone. But it does wrap around here. We could... I take that back, sir. This is a wonderful deployment zone, because look at this. It puts our artillery absolutely at the key vantage point. Look at this. Look at this hill here. It is an absolute wonder to see, sir. Now, I know we've got howitzers. Many of the council have said, Mala, you've got howitzers. You don't need the sort of that elevation, as it were. But we still take it. We'll still take it. We do have a regiment here of 24 foot. So, let's bring these forces into here. And we could actually, we've been here for such a long time, we can actually deploy it, but we won't do that at the moment. Not for the art. Oh, look at that. I mean, that really does warm the cockles of the heart. Look at that, sir. Now, that is howitzers par excellence. Now, for our howitzers. We're going to bring in quick lime. I think we lose shrapnel shot. Actually, we lose round shot for the cannon here. Oh, look at that. 24 pounder foot. We really have moulded, with the council's help, moulded these forces into a fearsome fighting machine. We really have. Now, let's bring our forces now. The general, of course, on observation duty here. Can we draw them into us here? Let's just set the general back a little bit. Look at that. The long grass could prove invaluable here. Now, we only have one regiment of cuirassiers here, which I think we'll put out on the flank here for the time being. Again, we have to be very wary of those cannon they have. Now, let's put, as you can see, we do have some very experienced here. I think we'll put this regiment here, probably one of the most experienced regiments, at the vanguard of the defence here. Now, they do have horse, so we will definitely have some horse traps and horse defences, or anti-horse defence, should we say, anti-cavalry defences. We shall have infantry. We'll keep the regiments close. We want that tight firing formation, so the concentration of firepower is not dissipated at all. Oh, gentlemen, please, thank you. Oh, look at that. We're going to let the lay of the land here, let the sort of the lay of our combat lines just flow here. As you can see, we're letting them just flow with the terrain here, the topography. What do we have here? Oh, look at that regiment there, a wonder, sir. Okay, trenches. We could put this regiment here on the extreme left. Trenches. We can, and we probably will be able to pull and move some of these forces into reserve. We'll actually put our cavalry here. Now, we can't be hidden, unfortunately, but still, we will stretch this right flank as far as we possibly can. Not too far. We don't. I'll put this regiment here. We'll start just altering the angle here of these forces. Now, we do have, as you can see, extensive. We could, I wonder if we were to use 3 regiments to actually force the walls once they've moved out all of their forces. Can we do that here? Well, let's actually hide them here. Indeed, sir. So what we are going to do is we're going to hide these 3 regiments here. Now, once the initial Austrian charge from their defences has moved out, we will use these gentlemen here to storm the walls, to breach the walls. We'll also hold 3 of these regiments back in reserve. Let's bring them up here, and then we shall deploy them as we see fit. I think we'll have this regiment here on the left in reserve, fire by rank off, but we shall use trenches. We shall have these 2 regiments. Actually, we might deploy another regiment here, just to be on the safe side here. Let's not assume anything yet. They do have some very potent forces indeed. So we'll have 1 regiment on the right here in defence of the right. Okay, to avoid fire at will. Now, we don't have a full army. We are missing 2 regiments. They had to be transferred to other theatres. However, I believe we've got enough here. We've definitely got enough reinforcements, so there shouldn't really be a problem here. Let's begin. Let's take... Oh, look at that, sir. Let's take Venice. Vienna, even. Now, of course, we've got the general here. General Ursoy has arrived on the field. We're going to try... Got to keep him out of harm's way here. I've got Royal Cuirassier Guards now. And what the blaze? We got two generals here, which we didn't really need. We've got both generals arriving at the same time, which is an absolute... Look at this, they got lancers, sir. Now, lancers are absolute brutes in the charge. Look at that. Wonderful sight there. He's moving the enemies. As you can see, we've got our forces hidden here. Now, if they spot us, we will have to go to immediate square formation. Hopefully they will merely saunter past us. They've stopped. Where are those cold horse guards going? Look at that. Well, Karasi is the absolute apogee here of cavalry forces. Lancers as well. Ready to fire. Oh, well, some excellent gunnery skills here, sir. They come within here, they're going to be hit by shrapnel shot and quick line. Almost within reach. Oh, that's an absolute joy to see, sir, it really is. We need to remove these lancers. We've got one Lancer brigade there, or regiment should I say. That's one shattered regiment. That's with no losses at all. That artillery fire, that fire support has been wonderful, sir. Come on, give them a good volley, lads. Oh, what a shot! What a shot! Steady, gentlemen, steady now. And they went straight past these regiments here. Oh, look at that. Not a chance. Ready to fire. Prepare to fire, lads. They've got a look at that. Wavering, sir. Ready to fire. Prepare to fire. Steady, lads, steady. Wait for the order. Wait for the order. Fire. Oh, that's an absolute joy to see. Pull them back. A joy, sir. Have at you, sir. Oh, what a shot. Fire support has proved invaluable. I'll actually swing these gentlemen around here. Your guards. Oh, this fire support has been exemplary, sir. Get yourselves in order, gentlemen. Get yourselves in order. Second rank fire. Take care of these guards. We should have removed a very powerful force. Where are those? Where are those Marines? There they are. Look at that, they're taking an absolute pasting there, sir. We've got a huge amount coming our way here. Patience is a necessity here. It would appear we need all forces available. Oh, what a shot, sir. My compliments to the chef. Oh, look at that. This has been an absolute bloodbath thus far. Now we take this... Oh, wait a minute, what have they got in here? Dragoons. Horse... They've got dragoons in here, which is... Have they found them here? That's what we've got to be careful of. Breaking, sir. Aid on them, lads. Aid on them. Fusiliers. Storm them, lads. Oh, what a shot. Oh, this is a joy to see. This is nothing short of a joy to see. We've absolutely obliterated them. We've taken a fair few casualties here, sir. Here they come. Reload! That's what I wanted to see. Oh, this fire support has been invaluable, sir. It's been a bloodbath. It's been a bloodbath. Yes, sir. Can we take the city here? Can we take the city here? We will take losses, as we've proven here. My goodness me, what a fight this has been. We've lost a lot of men here, but still. This has just been exemplary, sir, from this army. It really has been. They should mention these dispatches. Your armies perform valiantly, sir. Yes. Gone. Cavalry commander is dead. Thus the backbone of the army is gone. Yes, thank God, the dragoons are broken. Get in there, lads, get in there. This has been nothing short of an absolute joy to see. It really has been exemplary fighting here, sir. And 24 pounders. Soon we will have 3 regiments within this citadel, within this fortress. They might bombard us here with mortars, but it shall not put us off, sir. We're taking fearsome casualties. This is why we loathe and detest their mortars. But now we have command here of the gateway. Get in, gentlemen. Get in there. Get off the ground. Get off the ground, gentlemen. No time. Also taking the council's advice here, and we've not put our cavalry in diamond formation. We've left them in this sort of powerful square, as the council has advised. We do get in here and deal with these. These mortars are absolutely horrific to deal with. They really are. They do tremendous damage. But, gentlemen, there's not a time now for slow motion. Thank you. Wait till the cuirassiers arrive. Then you shall see the full taste of American steel, sir. And they do look wonderful, don't they? Into them, lads. Into them. Trying to get our cavalry out. Deal with them. That's your snap. that, my friends, is the fall of Vienna. That is what we've been after for so many years. It has cost so many troops, so many lives. 864 lost. They lost almost the entirety there of their forces. Statistics here, look at that. 24 has killed 313 men. That is purely from that shrapnel shot. What a wonder to see there. Wow, that foot was wonderful. What? And it looks like the Austrians are also moving out against Algiers here. Now that is strange why that would be so. But they don't have a fort here. We shall take this fight. The second battle, my friends, of this particular episode. And what a fight it shall be. We are going to remove and rid. Excuse me, my friends. We're going to remove the Austrians in their entirety. Now, also the council called for Tunis to be given to the French as another sort of another bastion for them to sort of keep themselves protected against, you know, future ventures by the Spanish. Although just put them very close to Spanish. Tunis does put them very close to Spanish waters and indeed Spanish territory. So we've got to be careful there. But we will probably give Tunis to the Spanish, although it's going to cost many American lives potentially to take Tunis. The council has deemed that Tunis should be given to the French. To keep them sort of in the campaign, as it were, to keep them alive, as it were, because they are struggling very much so. And it looks like we're going to have to prop up the French, or what is left of the French government, in exile. The French are currently in exile, so it is up to the Americans to prop up the French government, as it were, what is left of it anyway. And we shall do that, my friends. But look at this here. I mean, this is an absolute joy to see. It really is. Look at that. I mean, we are without doubt going to put our artillery upon, because we saw what happened in the last battle when we had that artillery, you know, laid out here on this elevated position. It was an absolute wonder to see. Nearly 320 men killed by one particular regiment. That was a splendid sight. Now, you might put them into two separate. Quick line here, but we'll put these. Yeah, we'll leave these on round shot for the meantime. Now we have plenty of cavalry here, but we just have a regiment of horse. I think we'll actually put them. As you can see, a lot of this is going to be hindered here by the sheer topography here of the landscape, but we have got a very well protected sort of fire position here, a fire point from which we can absolutely rain down a fiery hell here upon the Austrians. We do have a huge amount of backup forces here for some reason per artillery piece. Actually, I wonder if we could use the mountains up here where the rest of the cavalry is to sort of descend down upon them. Look at that. We'll actually pull this regiment here. We will fight them. We'll use the cavalry up here in the mountains. I mean, look at the mountainous region here. This is absolutely one of the most mountainous regions we've ever fought in. Look at this up here. Look at this. It's extraordinary. The mountain range here is unlike anything we fought on. We're almost fighting in a valley. As you can see, we've got this. The mountain here sort of pushes all the way down here. It creates this natural sort of valley here with funnels. At the middle of it here is Tunis itself, or an outlying village of Tunis at least. Right. Got our general here. General Roberts here is here, which is wonderful to see. General Roberts requested that he be transferred to this particular front here to take Tunis. As you can see, there's General Roberts here. And he has brought a magnificent, and he really has moulded this army into a fearsome fighting machine. He's a disciplinarian, let's not deny it, but his force is magnificent. Now, let's put this regiment here once again. Can we put them here? We can, but as you can see, this is going to cause havoc here. So we can actually set our forces down on the very base of this. Well, it is a mountain effectively, and we'll use the fire support that can then carry on down here. So again, we'll carry on with a similar vein here. 76th Regiment, an old regiment here as well. On the right, we'll put anti-horse stakes down as well, or anti-cavalry stakes. We have the 91st Regiment here, a little bit too close there on the left. I think we'll have anti-cavalry stakes Now, we shall have this regiment here, again on the left here. We shall put trenches. We might be able to pull some regiments into reserve as well. We will stretch the entirety of this, but look at this, it's going to absolutely really hinder the deployment here. Again, on the right we'll have the 88th Regiment, some trenches as well. We could probably fit one more regiment into this defensive or initial defensive line. We shall have, do we have any more? Oh, we've got 76 always in the line here. We'll have the 73rd on the extreme right here in the vanguard, and we do have a number of regiments in reserve. We can't really put them into reserve. We can probably put them up in the reserve up here. As you can see, the slope is quite a gentle slope here, but it does move. It doesn't have these sort of ridges that block any movement down here, so just move them slightly in front here. Take them off fire at will. We don't want any more friendly fire casualties. The same can be said for these regiments here. We'll pull one regiment into the middle here. We shall have to go around this way to get to the middle. But again, we're not going to become complacent. Complacency will be the undoing of anyone who thinks they can meander and walk in somewhere and just simply conquer anybody without even having to plan properly here. That's key. And again, we've got our cavalry up here, 4 regiments of cavalry. We're going to hit them with one mailed fist here. Now, I think we're ready. We've got reserves. We've got a very strong defensive line, which we're using the sort of the topography and the geography here of this battlefield to our advantage. Let's begin. Oh my goodness me! What the blazes! The Austrians are all up here, sir. Oh, that is staggering. That is absolutely staggering. Which means they're probably going to move along this. What we might do then is put a regiment up here. And we might put a regiment also, unless they're going to feed down into the town here, unless they're going to come along this sort of, looks like they're going to move along this plateau here and down into the valley around us here. So it might be policy for us to actually move our cavalry up here. Actually set another regiment. We can't actually, yes we can. Double time, gentlemen, double time. I'm going to cover this left flank. Looks like it's going to come in quite hard. Let's put these gentlemen on a round shot as well. Let's bring all the cannons into fire. Beverage of tea during the fight. Let's bring all reinforcements down in here just to make sure we've got everything covered here. We'll actually angle them thus. And let's shift these gentlemen over to this flank here, because it looks like we're going to come into quite an aggressive push here by the Austrians. I'm going to cut off this left flank in its entirety. Double time, gentlemen, double time. I know the terrain is hard, but move. United States troops out. We've got to defeat these Austrians, and we've got to put a real dent in what they control. It's the only way we're going to push and tilt this war in our favour, because we've had the Germans and Austrians against us for a long time. So, ladies and gentlemen, keep pounding away here. Move it, lads, move it. Where the place is his regiment here. Move it. Got to beat those Austrians to the punch here. We've got our cavalry here, just sitting ready. We will actually strike down here. Double time, lads, double time. Eight-inch mortars, they've abandoned their mortars. Prepare to fire, lads. What a wonder. We're going to need support on this left flank for definite from the artillery. We have to shift some of our fire. They've been given a damn good pasting here, sir. And this is why we moved them to this particular flank. You've absolutely, look at that, obliterated, sir. So, gentlemen, steady now. Fire! Pick them apart, lads. Patience is a virtue, my friends. Patience is a virtue. What a shot. We're going to pick them apart. We've my compliments to the chef, sir. If we wanted a slow march, sir, this is not Sunday. Move it, sir. We've got a battle to win, and a war to win. It's not done by laziness and meandering. Austrians. Let's focus all our firepower here on one particular regiment. Let's break them in entirety. Down into the valley, sir. We shall break them one regiment at a time. There are no words left, so there's no superlatives left to describe the sheer magnitude here of these victories. Look at this. There's panic everywhere, sir. Break them, lads. Break them. Want them shattered. Gentlemen. Gather thy forces. Absolute joy, sir. Come on, gentlemen, break them now. Of course they're wavering. General, oh, what a shot. The general was killed. Their enemy general was killed. Wonderfully there. Come on, lads, break them now. They're broken. Oh, look at that. Led right into the Viper's nest. Absolutely shattered it with 2 hits here, and 2 strikes. Swarm of lads. Give them a chance to rest. This has been an absolute obliteration. Look at this. It's a butcher's yard, sir. A butcher's yard. They didn't stand a chance. Move, Germany. You only move downhill now. Move. They've shattered, they've locked past it, gentlemen. We've done it, sir. We've broken these Austrian forces. Whom, yes. Heroic victory, of course, sir. We lost 203 men, we killed 3,633. Once again, look at them, look at that, look at the 24 pounders here. They've done a wonderful job. The line infantry here, 252 kills. These experienced echelons have done a wonder. Look at that. Oh, France does. Wait a minute, sir. Wait just a minute. Is France going to invade Spain, perchance? Interesting times indeed. Yes, they are. Looks like they're going to attack Portugal. We might just well give Tunis to the French. Plot thickens. What will the Germans do now? What will their next tactic be? Looks like they're moving to Transylvania here. Interesting. Gdansk is yet again another target here. Oh, are they going to move? Yes, they're going to try. They're going to move towards Hung. They're moving towards the Austrian allies here. Yeah, they're going to start moving towards Gdansk here. Wait a minute, we have a building here that, of course, we destroyed the colleges and universities. They can raid us, that's absolutely fine. You can take that. With 125,000 gold here in the bank. We can't do much else. If they've given us time for Hanover, remember I forgot, should I say, to completely reinforce the Hanoverian garrison. Now, if these forces are to be unleashed against us in Ankara, we would struggle. It looks like they're going to start putting together some very strong, powerful strike forces here. Yes, that's a full. Are they going to hit? Are they going to hit the fort? Can we drag them onto the fort here? Disengage. They're going to surround us here. They're going to actually bypass the fort. But eventually, one of them will take the bait. Indeed. Oh, nothing silly from you, Russia. Nothing silly from you, sir. Oh, now now that is probably held. Yeah, that's heading towards, as the council said, this is probably heading towards the last bastion of Swedish enclave here. So we could see Spain is going to respond to France. If they move against us here, our forces in Hanover aren't ready yet. We've also got this German force here, that is splitting our two forces apart here, the one in Denmark and the one in Hanover. Crucial here that we do actually break that there. What will Spain do? Spain is up to something, but we don't know yet what that might be. They're reinforcing Lisbon. Of course they realise what's happening. The French are quite clearly going to strike against Lisbon. If they strike against Madrid, that might be a foolish manoeuvre. However, it does keep the Spanish occupied, which is, of course, what we wish. Now you're being silly, sir. Now you're being silly, sir. I think we can, without doubt, resolve this without a fight.
Glorious victory.
On your way, sir. They've tried to preempt our strike here against Cairo, but that's not going to stop us. Norway, which has been a staunch ally, is actually looking in pretty fair shape here, it must be said. What shall prevail here? Of course, we have a lot of raids here. Which is absolutely fine, we can expect that. Look at this, I mean, we're at the embroiled here within this. I mean, look at this campaign, I mean, look at it. It is absolutely just magnificent, it really is. We really are embroiled in a brutal campaign here. Now, Vienna is close to falling. Oh, look at this. Drill Master, strong defense, patriotic sword, which is a wonderful, wonderful trait to gain. It really is +2 to morale. Competent general, it's always good to see. Now we do have a huge resurgence here in our garrison here on Berlin. But luckily we've given time by the Germans here to actually improve the...
Sir.
As you can see, what the blazes is going on here? Why aren't these gentlemen being replenished here?
Ready and awaiting orders. Sir.
We set this in motion, they should already be replenished here. We definitely have to remove this force here to link up entirely with the Hanoverian garrison here, but Spain is not going to be... I mean, look at that. They really do have very powerful forces here on the border. I mean, that is nothing to be sniffed at all. Look at that. Although the artillery does not be often desired, their income should be vast. 5,000 Courlanders have probably got the most coming in from here. As you can see, we do have a very powerful fleet here. If they do attack us, we will indeed... Wait a minute. Oh, Courland are hitting a half. Yes, of course, Courland are at war with Spain, which is good to see. Of course, we will instantly move our forces there. Now, Munich is still under German control. Now, actually, they're upgrading the barracks here, which means they are moving into another production drive here. So it looks like it's crucial we move from Vienna and take Munich away from them as quickly as possible, and also move against Prague as well. But that, oh my goodness me, they really have loaded that up with some wonderful forces. That is a very, very tough garrison to overcome. Very tough indeed. But, as you can see here, I think we will actually get a craft workshop here, and indeed we'll get a craft workshop here as well. Let's improve our facilities here. Now, we do have the Baltic Sea, indeed. We do have these naval forces ready. Look at that. The fleet here is magnificent. East Prussia. I think we did agree to put some of these... Yes, indeed.
Your humble servant. More orders? Make ready. At the ready.
Fantastic.
Make ready. Mark. Ready and awaiting orders. By the left.
That's more like it, sir. Now let's increase our recruitment here. We've got to put all these armies back into full strength here.
At the ready.
We definitely need more line infantry, so we're going to put a lot of more line infantry here into the field. We have the facilities which to do so. Now what's our income here? 52,000 still, even though our trade has dropped. Here we're at war with, as you can see, a huge swathe of the world is already at war with us. Have we taken Tunis? Not yet. We shall wait. We've got patience, and we are going to be moving. As you can see, this force here is going to move down and besiege Cairo.
Ready. Sir.
Follow your orders, sir.
Lifting siege.
Yes. Hand that over, sir. Hand that over.
Make
Yes.
ready for battle.
They've handed it over without even a shot being fired. Egypt is now ours. These are right. Oh, excellent.
Heave away, boys. Heave away.
Now, I think we're going to land additional forces in... Yeah, we need additional forces. Down here in the Mediterranean. Let's not kid ourselves here. That's where we need them.
Ship's orders.
Let's clear the defensive position we've got here to block off the Gibraltar States.
Ship shape and Bristol fashion, Captain. Aye, sir. Ready and waiting. Orders, Captain.
I think we might move these to this force actually back to here for defensive to defend. Have these gentlemen defend it, because we do have these ships here. They would take this full force in one swoop here. So we've got to be very careful what we do here. The French have that here. French have quite a sizable force here. Now, the council did ask us to give between 10 and 15,000 gold to the French, which is what we're going to do now. We do have the money. I know some of you might balk at this and may think, man, I don't give them 15,000, but we are going to do it. They have been... Wait a minute. The allies of Prussia? I don't think so. I think the council might actually... The council might actually see that we're going to give them that money, and their allies are the Germans. Now, I'm going to ask the council again whether that is wise to give them money. We'll look at the Spanish. They hate us with a passion. Sweden not too far behind. Now, do we give the French, who are allies with Germans here, money? That seems a little bit off to me. That doesn't seem quite to fit what we're after there at all. Again, I will put the question to the council. Do we still go ahead and give the French money? Now, I know there's been a huge call by the French to actually... by the council, I beg your pardon, to actually take Paris here for and give it back to the French. Now that is still a possibility once we've dealt with what we've got going on here. As I said, no council members' proposals will be ignored, none. But again, I want to put that to you, my friends. I want to put that to the council. Do we still give the French money? Now I know there's been an argument that if we actually reinstall the French back in Paris within sort of seat of government, they'll actually help us sort of throw the Spanish onto the back foot, as it were, and give the French a time to really take back over. But are we going to put ourselves then with an ally of Germans into a sort of a position of power, and we've worked for that power, and we've given sort of the allies of our enemy a real strong seat here, which doesn't quite seem to fit and sit quite well there. But again, I will ask for the council's advice there. We're actually going to end this episode here, my friends. I know we haven't taken Vienna and we haven't taken Tunis, but by all other means we have broken the garrisons in both town and city. If we do take Vienna, we only have then Prague to take, and Tunis, and indeed they've still got Zagreb here as well, which I have forgotten about. But if we take this city, Vienna really is the beating heart here of the Austrian Empire. As you can see, all of those armies that were once full and new and refreshed are now starting to look jaded, because of course Vienna now is absolutely going to crash. Their economy is effectively crashed. Can we finally bring a thorn in our side to an end here? And if we can move down from Dresden and meet the forces from Vienna and Dresden, move down here, we could actually cut off the forces here that are actually still operating in Breslau and Silesia. But my friends, I'm going to end this episode here. I hope you've enjoyed it. We've had two magnificent battles that have put us firmly on the front foot here against one of our enemies, the Austrians, and indeed might set us up well for our advances against our old foe, the Germans. But my friends, I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, thank you for all of your wonderful, wonderful comments, your very kind comments as well. They really do appreciate the very, very kind comments I've received over the last week or so. That really does mean a lot to me. Also, thank you all of you for your wonderful proposals. The council really is the beating heart of this campaign, and all others as well, and all of your suggestions will always be implemented. And if there's any queries about your suggestions, I will always put it back to the council to see what you think. So in other words, there was a call from a couple of council members that we actually help the French and we give them some money, but we found out since then that the French are actually allies with our enemies, our bitterest enemies, the Germans. So is still giving the money to the French, does that still sit very well with you at all? If it does, of course, I will follow through with the council's advice and I will give the French money. And maybe in the future, when we've got some forces available, we will strike against Paris if we already haven't done so, or if, of course, Spain haven't already attacked us beforehand. And again, how does that sit with the council at the moment? But I put that question to you, my friends. But once again, thank you for all of your wonderful support and your wonderful advice. It really does mean a lot. But until next time, my friends, bye for now.